Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Ephesians. Today we're looking at Ephesians chapter 6, verse 15. We've been examining the armor of God, putting on the spiritual armor that God provides us. So far we've looked at the first two pieces of the armor Paul mentions, the belt of truth and the breastplate of righteousness. And today in verse 15 of chapter 6, Paul talks about the third piece of armor, the shoes. The shoes. Notice what it says. Chapter 6, verse 15. Have your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In the King James Version it says, have your feet shod with the gospel of peace. He's talking about the shoes. In case of a Roman soldier, that would be the sandals that work for his shoes for combat. Now, oftentimes when you talk about a soldier's armor, you don't necessarily think of the shoes as part of that armor, but actually it is very significant. It was important for the Roman legions to be able to be mobile, to move quickly, which meant marching over all kinds of terrain. And part of the secret of their success was their ability to march long distances with efficiency, quickly. And the Roman legions did that. Some historians say that part of the reason for the great success of the Roman legions in conquering the Mediterranean world was simply their shoes. They marched quickly and efficiently to where they were needed. But also they needed shoes that in the time of battle did not slip. Their feet needed to be firm. They didn't need to be slipping and sliding around, and their shoes were well designed for stability and not slipping in the midst of battle. So the shoes of a Roman soldier were very important to the success of the Roman military. And so Paul understands that, and he says that we in the army of Christ, this spiritual army, our shoes must be ready. Now he compares the shoes to being ready to share the gospel of peace. May your feet be fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. Now the gospel, of course, is the good news about Jesus. That in Jesus we can be saved. In Jesus we come to peace with God. Before we were enemies, but in the good news of Jesus, he saves us from our sin and reconciles us to God the Father. He establishes peace. Now, why does Paul use that as a metaphor for the shoes, the sharing of the gospel of peace? Why is that a metaphor for shoes? I think it has to do with our moving into the world to share that gospel, our traveling to all parts of the world with the good news that comes through faith in Jesus. You know, Jesus said to his disciples, you're going to make disciples of all nations. You're going to go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. You're going to share this good news of the gospel with all peoples, all tribes, in all places. That requires quick movement. The gospel was a moving faith. As the early Christians took the gospel all over the world, they were mobile. They carried the gospel to the peoples of the world. And our feet must be prepared to move forward, to take the gospel where it's needed, and it's needed everywhere. We go into all the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. So the Christian army is a moving army, a marching army, going forward in spiritual warfare to advance the kingdom of God and overwhelm the places where the kingdom of darkness reigns by sharing the gospel of peace. So Christians, we are called to go forward into the world, into all of our world, sharing that good news of the gospel. That is to have our feet ready to move forward and to share the good news of Jesus Christ. This is a vital piece of our armor, a readiness to travel and to move forward and to carry the gospel, to be mobile, to take it where it needs to be heard. So have on your shoes. You're ready to march. You're ready to go into the world and to share that good news of Jesus Christ. This is the gospel of peace. Hope you join us tomorrow for our next 5-minute Bible study in the book of Ephesians. We'll keep looking at the armor of God. Hope to see you then.